Thank you very much for that. Now we're going to touch a little bit trafficking, and let's see if we have a time to look at Pan-Africanism because that is very important for me. So, what are you doing within the area of trafficking?
So I work with a couple of local organizations here in Arizona for the trafficking. Basically, what I do is behind the scenes work in the trafficking area, a lot of research. Sometimes I'm calling and talking to victims or families of victims, getting the information to the organizations. That's basically my work. I'm not the out front person on that issue. I don't really have the time to be the out front person, but I do spend a lot of time doing research, talking to different people on the streets, gathering data, talking to victims and their families, trying to get them resources and things like that. So my role in the human trafficking thing, outside of going and training people on what human trafficking is, because I do a lot of talks and training, talking to different groups about, hey, this is what human trafficking is. And did you know there was even a problem? A lot of people don't know this, but as far as human trafficking goes, Black women are trafficked at a lot higher rate than other groups. And the reason for that is because if you get caught trafficking a Black woman, as opposed to trafficking somebody of another race, your punishment tends to be less.
All right, we're going to explore that data a little bit more. I'm going to ask you a few questions related to that. Because, of course, here in this part of the world, I'm in Italy. Italy is a hot spot for also trafficking of Africans to Europe. This is something that is not even very simple as an argument. No, we might say, well, and Europe don't need Africa. Why they shouldn't be here? Or maybe they need it. Why did they not make it possible for people to come here legally? It's a very complex situation. Here in Europe, uh, uh, immigration is a political argument, very, very political. No,
Yep.
people don't really face it the way it really is. They just go around and politicize it enough and enough. Sometimes they make a lot of terrible mistake along the way. So right there in the United States, of course, we know that President Trump was very tough on immigration too. And it was one of the key the key argument that he had before, during, and I think even now that he has left the office, he's still very much strong on that, or maybe I don't know. So, uh, from what are the data saying relating to trafficking? Because I think that would be very important for particularly for Africans and for people of African origin.
So I can only speak on where I'm at and what the area that I'm doing it in. And we have right now where I'm at is I'm on the border of Mexico. So there's a very big trafficking issue here. Now, those people are trafficked to Mexico, and then from there they go out to other parts of the world. And they're typically trafficking young girls. It's a sex trafficking rings that are going on here. We also have people being trafficked into the country for work purposes. So these people are being trafficked in here. They're working in different industries. I won't say what those industries are that'll start a whole bunch of mess, but they're being trafficked here and mistreated here based on these different industries, and they can't work off their debt. And so it turns into a slavery issue. It's a very complex thing. And it's just like you said, it's extremely political. And it's a very hard area to tackle because it's political, because it's an uncomfortable topic. People really don't believe it's going on because a lot of things that you hear is, this is 2021. What do you mean, this is happening? And people don't believe it. It's a very difficult subject to tackle. It's a hard subject to deal with on the ground because people really don't believe it's an issue. And the reason they don't believe it's an issue is because it's not talked about.
And on the ground is really a big issue because a lot of life have been lost in it.
Yes.
We're looking at the Sahara issue, for example. A lot of thousands of Africans have died on the way, and thousands have died in the sea, just the stretch of water between Europe and Africa. A lot of things have been said there, and like I said before, it's a political situation. Sometimes it's a political gimmick. They just
It's
allow people
heartbreaking.
to let people perish. Anyway, everyone is going to pay for his crime.
Yes, indeed.
All right. Now, have you had the time to talk to this victim, these women that have been trafficked across? What did they tell you about their journey? Like, why are they in this journey?
You mean, why were they trafficked? A lot of
Yes.
them were trafficked for, they're being taken to other countries and sold as sex slaves to work as prostitutes, or they're being put into servitude situations where they're working for different families babysitting kids, having to clean the house, and they're really treated horribly bad. And they tend to take younger girls, so 14-ish, young teenage girls is when they tend to grab them. Yeah, it's a bad situation. They're not treated very well. They're often hungry. They feed them very little. They don't have access to clean water. I mean, the conditions that these people go through is horrific. You wouldn't wish it on anybody. You wouldn't wish it on anybody. And thank God that we are able to get some people out, and we're able to save some people before they even get in through education.
I think some people, these people that are usually involved in looking at your data, are they mainly Africa, or they are also other people of ethnic nationality, maybe like the
It's
Mexican?
multi-ethnic, so there's no one group. All ethnic groups participate in it, even our own people, unfortunately.
And we know, for example, if you be conversant with the Nigerian story, of course, you know that the Boko Haram, they came one day and they made away with a lot of children from school in a country, hey,
Yeah.
Nigeria. Anyway, that is it. So those people, we don't know what those children have gone to them. And we have a government. We have a government who's to protect their own citizens, but they allow people to come in and take away children. Maybe the people, they are just drinking beer in Asu Rock. I don't know.
Well, sometimes when a person gets really desperate, they'll do anything for money. And that's a really scary thing, but it's the reality.
It's a very difficult situation, because in this particular story, I've been working on it for a long time too. So I understand how painful it is. How painful it is where people undergo this kind of torture,
It's terrible.
They are basically cancelled from existence. They live like you are living a memory that is very, very torturing, So now I'm going to ask you something in this area. What kind of rehabilitation do you get them involved in, or do you know that these people they have to pass through? Because like I said, it's a very torturing situation. To pass through what they usually pass through, traffic like goods, anyway, Europe, United States is not near I'm talking of the children that are coming from Africa in this case, no, they are not even near. So who knows what they have to pass through to get there. Between Africa to Europe, a lot of people, like I already said, they quench, they die, no? A lot of them, not 10, not 20, not 100, not 1,000. And those that are trafficking, they are not yet tired of it. In fact, it's a booming business for them. As far as they're concerned, this is just business.
Right.
So what do you do, or what does your organization do in terms of rehabilitation for these people?
So they go through extensive counseling, not just for the victim, but for the victim's family as well. So there's a lot of psychological damage that happens and takes place, and people suffer for many, 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 many years. And it takes a lot to get through it. And I'm not gonna say that they actually ever get over it, but they find coping mechanisms. They learn coping mechanisms to help them deal in life and to reintegrate into life. But it's a process, and it takes a lot of dedicated people, a lot of man hours to put into it. So we get people into therapy because it's needed, because the psychological damage that's done to a person is can't even be described. It's tremendous, right? So we have to work on the psyche, because this is where people that are tracked, this is the trackers get into your mind, and they convince you that you're not worthy, you're not human, we're the only hope that you have. And so they want, they get into your mind. So to combat that, you have to get people into therapy. Therapy is very, 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 very crucial and important, and it's a must. It's a must. And not just for the victim, also for the victim's family, because once the person leaves therapy, their family is going to have to know what to expect from this person. They're going to have to notice things. So the family, it's a multifaceted approach. It's a holistic approach, the victim and the family.